what's up? Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Red Panda Anthem. Your boy.
All right, Andrea, unmute yourself, please.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Have a quick question. So I recently was laid off from my job. So I want to know, what is the best move to make with my 401k?
Roll it over into an IRA. So you can roll. We talked about this on the financial planning call a few times, but after you leave a job, the best thing to do with an old 401k is to roll it over into an IRA. And the reason being is that when you're no longer working, the 401k is kind of frozen, not frozen where it's not growing. It's still growing to however the relative the investments are doing, but frozen as you can't add money to it. You can't like pick and choose how you want to invest. You can only invest in what's provided for you by the 401k. Obviously you can't add money, so there's no match. And legally, you can't even really get advice on it. Like if you call and try to get advice over the phone, they're not going to give you advice. They can like tell you like, okay, we can sell it for you. We can do this, but you gotta tell them. So with the IRA, the benefit with the IRA and IRA rollover is that there's no taxes that's paid on the rollover. You get to pick and choose your investments, how you want to invest. If you're with an advisor, then you get to have some level of advice on it. And you get to add to it over the course of time too. So like, let's say you wanted to start a business and now you have an old 401k and you move it to an IRA. Now you can add money, $6,000 a year into your IRA and keep your retirement going, even though you're not working at a company anymore. So, I mean, you know, everybody's situation is different, but that's usually, you know, the best thing to do with an old 401k is to roll it over.
Okay, thank you.
To an IRA. BalalGroupLLC.com. Still have the financial. I still actually have.
By the way, taking clients.
By the way, yeah. We got a satellite. You know, my
okay.
assistant. Smart, they still work the business, so I'm not actually on the day-to-day trenches. But you know, Nipsey Hussle passed away, but the Marathon store is still up and running. So yeah, you know, that's one thing about starting a business. It's about, you know, you don't necessarily have to be there for the business to be up and running. So.
Which brings us to a great point. Would you mind sharing over the last 3 years, what are the 3 biggest mistakes that we've all made in our business to help our lovely fellow pandas and earners?
Biggest mistakes in business? Mm-hmm. Sheesh. Yeah, think about that. What's some of yours?
Not eliminating access to me personally fast enough and putting the levers in place to overload the automation of content to offset it. Number 2, number 2, I would honestly have to say giving vendors too many chances. So like I talked about this with Wayno, but I'm like, yo, like when you come from a situation in which you feel like people don't look out for you, it triggers a trauma response to then help others the way you wish you were helped to people who were not deserving. And you can give your way into poverty. So there are vendors who would message me and be like, hey, I mean, I'm going through it right now with a PR person. I'm like, I appreciate the work that you've done, but like every great placement I got was without you. Like, don't milk me because you think, you know. So selection of vendors, and then on a personal level, not going for bigger wins and playing bigger from the very beginning. So some of the conversations that I'm having now, like with some of the people in the hedge fund space, you know, they're like, with your talent, your call, like to hear what it's worth is mesmerizing, and there's still like inner work, shadow work that I'm doing to fully actualize that and realize that. So, and that's one of the things I always say about you, Shadi. Like, you would get an idea Tuesday, what would be Tuesday afternoon? I'm like, damn, you did this shit already? Damn, like I'll like, here go the layers. Like, nah, listen, Apple got to have a competitor. I bought BlackBerry. I'm like, shit. Okay, like
success loves speed.
Right. Absolutely, that's one of the best quotes. And the more you do that, and the more you stay on top of it, cool. And then if I can go even more personal, while being respectful, being incredibly selective of the personal relationships that I'm in while building business. That is the number one decider for how well someone is going to do or not. So, and also too, on a personal level, like if you elevate more once a person or a group of people isn't in your life, that's how it's a good telltale sign, especially for women. Because I get a lot of you messaging me like, hey, my husband isn't supportive, my man isn't supportive, and y'all take a little break and shit goes really well. It's your sign from God. Like if they really love you and support you, they want to see you thrive.
Call God.
Call God.
That's the first person you should call.
I don't know if we have mistakes. I'll tell you some of the lessons. I know one for sure. And that's making sure that people are put in positions that they have strengths in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I don't know if it's a mistake, but it's more of a lesson, right? Like you want to help everybody, but everybody's not great at everything. And so understanding people's strengths and trying to put them in positions where they can maximize those strengths. Because if they don't, it's going to be detrimental to anything you're trying to do inside the business. So that's one. And then I guess we're so used to doing like everything ourselves, learning how
a lot of BS too.
Because it's just more streamlined, right? Like I know the expectation that he has of me, he knows the expectation I have of him, and Mike, same thing. And so
shout out to Mike on the studio. I'm going to cut you off, man.
360 deal should have been handed out since the beginning. 360 deal is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
If you can't generate revenue on your own,
360 deals is not a bad thing. 360 deals should have been handed out early.
Yeah.
Early.
Maybe that's a mistake.
That's the biggest mistake. That is the biggest mistake. That is a fact.
Long-term investing and deals in perpetuity. That's what I tell you guys. Like, yo, I need royalties. Like, hey, I want to collab with you. I'm like, yo, I need perpetuity. Man, you tripping. Tupac wouldn't ask for perpetuity. I'm like, he did. She'll just give it to him and the boy didn't get a chance to live. Entrepreneurs, write this down. If you help someone build their brand, there should be some equity that you get in perpetuity off of it.
Oh, yeah. Lesson though.
Yeah.
Lesson though. Won't happen again.
360.
This that Red Panda Anthem. Ian, what's up? This that Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Red Panda Anthem.